Joining us now is OjyOkpe, with stories trending around the world, and it's Friday. Hello, Jinx.
You know I love Friday. Thank you for reminding me. TGIF, my favorite day of the week. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning?
Very good.
Looking bright and beautiful. Hello, how are you?
Your skin glowing with wawulas.
Me? That's not possible. You know that you are the king of
Your
violence.
skin is glowing with wawulas
Let's
today.
begin the violence show then. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, House Republicans on Thursday branded their first impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden a success, saying they justified their case. But expert witnesses called by Republicans said there was not enough proof for impeachment. The hearing was dominated by the business dealings of the president's son, Hunter, who Republicans alleged was selling access to his father. The White House has called the inquiry a political stunt.
The House Oversight and Accountability Committee has uncovered a mountain of evidence revealing how Joe Biden abused his public office for his family's financial gain. For years, President Biden has lied to the American people about his knowledge of and participation in his family's corrupt business schemes.
In Italy, 33-year-old Filippo Falazio, who beat a Nigerian man, Alika Ogochukwu, to death, was sentenced to 24 years in prison on Wednesday for the aggravated voluntary murder of the 39-year-old street hawker who was physically disabled. Ogochukwu was assaulted in broad daylight on July 29, 2022. He was hawking on the streets while several onlookers who did not intervene recorded videos of the attack using their phones. Protests were held after the murder to demand justice for Ogochukwu, whose death attracted global headlines. In Nigeria, the Kaduna State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal on Thursday dismissed the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate in the 2023 election, Isa Ashiru, and affirmed the governor of the state, Uba Sani of the All Progressives Congress, as the duly elected governor of the state. The three-member panel of the tribunal dismissed the petition on the ground that the pre-hearing notice was filed out of time and therefore deemed to be abandoned.
In essence, as of today, the PDP petition is dismissed by the tribunal. Unless PDP appeal to the Court of Appeal, then we now know what will happen there. But the petition has been dismissed.
Under sports, SSC Napoli on Thursday released an official statement on the TikTok post in which Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen and his management have deemed inappropriate. The Italian club said the posts were never intended to offend or make fun of the player. Osimhen's relationship with the Serie A champions went sour after the video was posted on the club's TikTok account, where the player was presented in a way that suggested mockery. The footage attracted widespread condemnation from football lovers. Osimhen's agents threatened a lawsuit against the club, adding that the clip could cause serious damage to the player. Finally, under entertainment, cast and crew members of Harry Potter have paid tribute to actor Sir Michael Gambon, best known for playing Professor Albus Dumbledore in 6 installments of the fictional movie. Gambon had an extensive catalogue of works across TV, film, and radio, with another of his biggest roles as a psoriasis-ridden sleuth in the 1980s hit series, The Singing Detective. Writer J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter novels, which were adapted into the movies, hailed Gambon as a wonderful man and an outstanding actor. He was 82 years old.
All those who live without love, you're not alone.
One only remembers to turn on the light.
Oh, may his soul rest in peace. I love this
Hogwarts
Harry Potter.
is in mourning.
Yes, Hogwarts is in mourning. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Let's begin what's trending. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, who is campaigning for a second term in office, announced an initiative to equip the youth in Imo State with contemporary technical skills. The governor, during his campaign on Tuesday, said that he has begun negotiations with foreign-based partners and that by December this year, 4,000 Imo youth will be employed in Europe.
I have gone further to negotiate with the European Union companies and Canadian companies. They are sending us special areas of digital skill, which our youth will also learn. And by December this year, 4,000 Imo youth will be employed in Europe. Comes, the governor will pay for our 8 tickets.
All right, Dr. Abata, 4,000 Imo youth will be employed by December. He'll send them their letters of, appointment and all of that. Some people have hailed it as a great initiative because obviously, diaspora remittances are great. But I mean, well, 4,000 Imo youths, are they employed in Imo State at this point as we speak, Dr. Abati?
Well, there's nothing great about the proposal by the governor. And this is why we tell politicians, if they don't have anything to say, they should just keep quiet. It's not important that you say something that doesn't make sense. Now, the crowd may be gullible at a time when many Nigerians want to leave the country. They call it the Jackpot syndrome. Mm-hmm. And although the president and his wife went to New York, and both of them were telling people to japada, to come back home because there's an enabling environment. Apparently, the governor of Imo State, perhaps having failed to provide an enabling environment and create jobs for people in his own domain, and Imo State has enough resources to be a center of productivity.
Excellent.
That the young people of Imo State will be gainfully engaged within the environment. But now you have the governor seeking a second term, preaching to the people that he will empower the people with skills so that they can go and get jobs in Europe. And he has talked to people abroad. Mm-hmm. And when the employment letters come, the state government will use state government money, the people's money, to buy tickets, to send people abroad. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The logic of it appears grossly incredible. And that's why we say, look, it doesn't make sense. The primary responsibility of the governor should be to make Imo State into an industrial center, a center of productivity, and to create opportunities for the young people of Imo State so that they can have hope, they can get jobs in the environment. I think it's most strange. It's the strangest form of campaign that we have seen in recent times, whereby a governor, a politician will be telling the people in his area that he will send them abroad. Okay, let us even assume that happens. He sends 4,000. Then, of course, he's telling the rest of the people, that it's better to leave this state and go to Canada or go to Europe. Well, let him be advised appropriately that at the moment now in the UK, for example, in case the UK is one of the countries that is targeting, Suella Braverman has been campaigning that, look, migrants should stay away. They should not come. And that there is an issue with the 1951 UN Convention on refugees, in case you even want to claim refugee status. On Tuesday, she's going to speak again against the European Court of Human Rights. The European Court of Human Rights is allowing all kinds of people to come into Europe on the grounds of human rights provisions in the law. So the same Europe that Governor Uzodinma is saying will give jobs. In fact, many of those countries in Europe don't want anybody to come. They prefer they stay in their own countries.
4,000 at that.
So, well, what is 4,000 out of the population of Imo State? So I hope his opposition will pick this up and make heavy weather out of it. Maybe there will be other political parties who will say, well, we'll give you hope so that you stay in Imo State, so that you don't run away.
Yeah, I like that. We give you hope. Or hope to the youth in Imo State. Hope Uzodinma providing hope.
Okay, so I want to critically analyze this. And let me dig deep. Yes, Imo has a lot of unemployment, in the States. And you will think that the governor should be able to create jobs for people within. Also, in the past couple of months, Imo has not really brought in anything in terms of foreign direct investment. So I'm wondering, what are these foreign companies and everything, that he's talking about? And why do you need to pay thousands of... Because if you say, okay, averagely at the rate of 2 million naira per ticket, for 4,000, who's going to provide that money?
Economy.
Yeah, that's economy. No, economy is benchmark, Dr. But the economy is benchmark. Those youths will not be flying business.
You expect Hope Uzodinma to put them in business class?
So what are you saying, Dr. Bati? Your wawules is too much. So who will be paying because if you have that money as a state, you rather create schemes for people to be able to have jobs. But what he said is practically possible. Since he measured the digital economy, recently I was part of a scheme where we help, train close to 5,000 people, digital skills. And when you give them that skill, actually, they can work remotely, so they don't need to travel abroad. Where you can give people digital skills, basic things like coding, programming language, and things like that. And they can be able to work for companies abroad. That was what made Andela popular, famous. Somebody I know, Talent QL, is also doing that. What's this called? Adewale Yusuf. It's also possible to be able to train them within and all of that. But I don't get this as explanation. But if it's that line he's talking about, giving them digital skill and train them,
it's not that line.
I say if.
He said he will
pay for flight tickets.
No, I've been able to settle that nobody needs to pay, because that's a way of already to hopefully siphon money. That's when you're saying pay for a flight ticket, it doesn't hold water. But what I'm saying, the point I make is that people can actually be given digital skills here, but it will make them work remotely. But if he's paying for flight tickets, I don't know about that one. That one is a suspect.
So people have argued that people that work abroad, they bring money back home. So maybe that's what his plan is. He wants to empower them to go abroad so they can work and bring money back home and even come back and teach, the Imo citizens.
So I think the APC have to be clear as to where they stand on this Japa situation. On one hand, because at least the last time I checked, he still belonged to the same party as the president. On one hand, the president is trying to ensure that Nigeria is suitable for people who have jackpot, who have gone abroad to come back home. Whilst on the other hand, another member of his party is campaigning with the promise that he wants to send even more people abroad. No, this was to go. Abroad, yes, they know president is jackpot, that he is jackpot. And isn't it sad that jackpot or migration is being used as a tool for electioneering? In other parts of the world, the UK that was cited earlier, immigration is also used as a tool for electioneering, especially when it comes to conservatives and now even the Labour Party. Let us strengthen our borders. We don't, jobs for our UK people. Instead, we, on the other hand, are telling people that we want to send you away, not close our borders so that we keep our people or keep jobs for our people. Why? The disrespect. And then that's why the UK can decide to increase visa fees. So let's bear that in mind in part of the European plans in terms of the budget. They would increase, and then we are treated, we are maltreated when we go to apply for visas. We're seen as it's such a desperate attempt. It's so attractive that a governor would use it as a tool to attract people to vote for him, that he would provide jobs, not in his state, not empower people, not create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive in his state, but he wants to send people abroad. There's a problem there. It should not have been seen. It should not have been said. It should not even have been thought of for him to bring this out. It is shameful.
Well, all right, Ayo. We'll take another story then. The Minister of Works and Housing, Dave Umahi, on Thursday locked out some members of staff of the Ministry of Works over lateness, prompting a protest by the aggrieved staff members. The minister reportedly arrived at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja ahead of some directors and staff in the morning and denied them access to their respective offices. The workers were later granted access to the ministry but proceeded to lock the entry and exit points of the ministry in protest against the minister.
Very angry. Dave Umahi locked everybody outside, saying workers came late for work. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
servants, you need to respect us in the first place. It is a must that you respect us. It's a must. Now, secondly, you need to carry us along. You cannot do this work alone. And you cannot import workers from outside to do the work for us. It is not possible. So what we want is total respect. What we want to fix this nation. If you had called us earlier and told us your grievances, then we'll be able to pass it across to our members. And once we pass it, anybody that now default, like I said, there are laid down rules and regulations in civil service. You give query. It's one of them. You don't just come and say, lock the gate. Sir, we are sorry, with due respect, this is not state. This is federal government. No.
Well, Rufai, I saw the minister there, in fact, kind of apologizing to the civil servants that came late to work. I think this is unacceptable in every single way. Those people, I've never seen anything like this. Is what's happening in Nigeria.
And let's call it spade a spade.
Yes.
Our civil service needs major reforms.
This is nonsense.
People came late to work, and you still have the infantry. But I don't also support the approach of the minister by locking the gates, because the truth is, you can allow the normal civil service rule.
What he said, Rufai, let me just say, what he said was he locked it so that he can go and address them. So he wants to know those latecomers, and then he was going to do that address them. And
that process
that's
is
what he
archaic.
said.
I'm even sad. I feel ashamed this morning that as of now, government ministries do not have a clock-in, clock-out machine, whereas you come in and register your timeline. So if they had come late, you don't even need to lock the gate to address them. If you clock in, they know the time you came, and you issue queries when necessary. And when the query is a lot, then people start to institute action. So both of them are wrong. The minister for going to lock the gate and say, no, come in, wrong. The civil servants too should watch it. You see, that's how they don't come early to anything. You go to government parastatal, you don't see them on ground. All sorts of things just go in there. You go to some schools, you see teachers giving a goosey melon to students to be breaking and all of that. It's very wrong, and our civil service mindset is very warped in this country. I don't support that, but I don't also support you now locking the gate. All you just need to do is a clocking machine. You don't even need them to write attendance on something. Once they come in, they clock in at part time. You see all the data there, and you issue them the query where necessary.
Well, all right. We'll take another story then. Nigeria's former vice president and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, on Thursday, submitted before a U.S. district court that there was no basis for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's objection to the order of the magistrate court directing the release of his academic records at the Chicago State University. Atiku, in his reply, urged the court to overrule Tinubu's objection to the release of documents relating to his transcript, admission letter, and other records, and prayed the court to allow the order of Magistrate Judge Jeffrey Gilbert, who ordered that the academic records, as requested in his August 2nd application, be released not later than October 2nd. Tinubu had approached a U.S. district court to stay the order till Monday, September 25th, when he would file his appeal against the order. Tinubu had argued that the documents sought by Atiku were purely for fishing expedition and not for use in Nigeria. I think this is a story of public interest. Dr. Abati, a lot of people, would want to hear all our reporting because we have been following this case back to back. Atiku has filed an objection. Tinubu had argued that Atiku was fishing and that the only thing to be released was his diploma certificate. Now that Atiku has gone to court to object to Tinubu's request, what do you make of that?
No, this is very straightforward. A basic principle in law is audi alteram partem. It means let the other side be heard as well.
Yes.
So despite the fact that the Tinubu team, his team of lawyers, had gone to a higher court to seek a review of the ruling by the Court of Judge Gilbert. The judge, Judge Maldonado, had also made it clear that, the other party will be heard anyway.
Yes.
So this is standard procedure. If you bring a matter, the other side will also be heard, and which is why there's always, complaints here in Nigeria about ex parte injunctions that, judges hurriedly issue. Elsewhere, in other jurisdictions, they won't do that because the basic principle is that you must hear the other side. So let the other side be heard as well. However, all of this process will end by, I think, November 6th. And when the Apex Court decides, that's the end of it. And I addressed other issues in the past, but Section 285 says, 180 days window. So you could find a situation whereby, okay, this person will say one thing, the other person will say one thing. Meanwhile, the matter will have been decided, and the entire argument will be rendered entirely academic.
Right.
So we don't know what will happen, but we'll watch.
Right.
We'll keep watching.
We'll keep watching, as always. We'll be here to report the news. We'll take our final story. The founder of Erisco Foods Limited, Eric Umahi, on Thursday threatened that he will take legal steps against a consumer who gave a review of one of the company's products. Well, on September 17th, the consumer, Chioma Egodi, made a post on Facebook stating that she tasted one of Erisco's tomato paste variants and found it sugary. She also claimed that the product was killing people. Erisco Foods, in response, described the claim as untrue and was intended to mislead its customers and discredit its image. Egodi was later arrested by the police after the company filed a complaint about the post. Her arrest began trending on social media, with many demanding her release and calling for a boycott of Erisco Foods. While speaking during an interview right here on Arise TV, Umahi said that the post had cost him so much, including the company's credit line, and vowed to sue the reviewer for 5 billion naira in damages.
People tell her, don't destroy this product. It's a lie. He will abuse you. People should go and read what she posted to show you that she's determined to kill us. So why must I leave her?
How much will you be suing for?
5 billion. I have credit line of $15 million from 2 customers, and now it's suspended from China. $15 million, 2 good customers. Because they say I'm not likely to pay them the credit if they give me.
So this letter of apology is not enough?
Well, because she never posted it as we agreed.
She hasn't posted this apology on social media.
She don't bring the thing down.
Does she have a copy of this letter?
She signed it. She has that copy.
So she agreed to post this
on her Facebook as well. If she don't post it there, we are going for 5 billion. Because even that is small money for her. For me to ask for her. Because that much is $30 million. You know how much is it? 5 billion naira. I've never heard where a reviewer is even arrested. Review. Ordinary review. I mean, what is this all about?
You have to be very careful. And this is why this case is very important. Right. Because if it's not handled properly, it will set a very bad precedent whereby people are afraid to express their opinion about certain products.
Where are we in this country?
It's really sad to see Chief Eric, who almost run down his business, live on TV yesterday. There's still time to salvage it. Let him apologize and withdraw all the case instituted against Mr. Dogi and say, oh, I can offer you, this is not our case, and present their own side of the case rather than harassing and intimidation. I want to see both of them win. Yes. You understand? In this case, he has handled it poorly, and I hope that he's still able to salvage whatever is left.
Well said.
There is something called consumer rights.
Yes.
There is a law, the FCCPA Act of 2018. If you check that law, if you buy a product you don't like it, you can complain. You can even return it.
Absolutely.
And part of your purchase price will be returned to you. We should be talking about consumer rights protection.
Yes.
More seriously.
Well,
I don't see from the perspective of corporate communications how this helps the Erisco Foods.
Yes, absolutely.
Just negative publicity that the gentleman could have avoided.
I like that negative publicity. Well, I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending Today. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending Today. I'll see you all next week.